Hello and welcome in our today's webinar. The topics are the proper intake manifold nozzles montage, and the second one is the rules of the proper montage in the gas injectors in the manifold, outside the manifold.
Yes. And today, just like before, I would like to welcome Marcin
and Thomas.
Okay, so
we will start from the simple and the rules of the manifold nozzles montage.
Yes.
This is a manifold that we prepared today for the training. We will start from the simple one when we have petrol injectors in the manifold. Then we'll follow to the next more complicated plastic manifold. Then we have the aluminium manifold and the more complicated manifolds like V6 engine and the plastic manifold for four-cylinder engines, but with more complicated construction.
Yes, especially when there are no places for the petrol injector in the manifold.
Yes, when the injectors are mounted in the head construction.
And of course, we would like to also tell you about the proper position of the rail or the single injectors, how to install those very important parts of the LPG or CNG system.
And the first, the most important thing during conversion is that we need to deliver the gas to the chamber, burning chamber,
combustion chamber, right?
with the proper way. What does it mean, proper way? It means that depends on manifold construction. We should put the nozzles in the proper position, proper angle, and of course, related LPG and CNG will be like a different way of thinking during this. So what to do? I think, Thomas, we'll start, let's see the slide number 2.
Yes, yes,
okay.
Because it's good to look at the picture because there are some basic and parameters how to install, how to drill the nozzles. It is good to look at the picture and check.
So at this moment you can
right?
see the two angles, angle alpha and angle beta. Yes, these two angles, it's like a base rules. One of the angle is, let's talk about alpha. It's related with the position of the petrol injector in the manifold. As you see, this manifold is without the petrol injector. Petrol injector is in the head construction. So what we should do, we should focus on the base rules, yes, because in situation when we have petrol injectors in the manifold, we should have solution that the nozzle in the manifold should be close to the angle of the petrol injector. So we have a manifold here. Yes. Let's have some small focus on it, please.
Yes, just to show you the words that Marcin is just saying. For example, if we have those places where we can find the petrol injectors right here, they are mounted on the manifold in this example. The first angle is related to the angle of the petrol injector.
And
so the same angle,
this
like
alpha angle should be very close to the angle of the petrol injector. This is like a first step inside. No matter it is LPG or CNG gas, the angle is important. The main difference between LPG and CNG is that the place of the nozzle in a manifold and what we should do. Because
yes, before
we read already one question.
One of the questions, the Peter is asking, main issues on nozzle are the angle, jerks and petrol injector position. Yes, jerks like the petrol injector position. How to be sure about the CNG nozzles? This is the difference between LPG and CNG nozzles. In general, we can say that if you want to install the CNG system and you know how to install the LPG system, the main difference is in the, let's say, distance between the manifold, between the place where you put the nozzles when we are talking about the LPG system and according to the CNG system. In general, LPG nozzles you should install more closer to the head of the engine, right?
Yes, and the petrol injector.
In the petrol injector, yes.
But if the Peter is asking about CNG, so in the CNG system we should move the nozzles from 10 to 15 centimeters from the petrol injector. Yes, if we have this is a rule. Sometimes the customer is already mounted the nozzle, so there is some kind of software corrections that we can make, yes, in the software. But if the software is not enough and still we have some jerks, we should switch to a mechanical solution.
Yes.
So we should just move the nozzles. If they were drilled close to the petrol injector, we should move it 15 centimeters from the petrol injector. Yes, this is a solution to prevent jerking during driving on CNG because of a better mixing. Usually the CNG pressure is higher than LPG, and we have just some turbulence during spraying the CNG, much more turbulence air inside the manifold. To prevent the jerking, the better mixing, just move the nozzles. Yes, that's the main answer for the question of the people.
Yes, this is the first step when we are talking about the mechanical problems with the CNG system and installation of the CNG.
So I think we'll present a small practical drilling for an example of this manifold. So what we should do at the stage of manifold drilling. First step, we need to analyze it is aluminum or plastic. Yes, if it's plastic, sometimes it's not necessary to move the manifold out, dismount it from the engine. But what is the reason why we should do this? Just example like this. Without the knowledge what is on the side of the head, we are not sure during the drilling on the engine department if we not, for an example, damage the sealing, yes, during drilling. That's why it's better to move it out from the engine department, yes.
That's right, that's right. And the second thing is there are some
tools, yes?
Yes, that's right. No, first of all, we need to drill, right? So
what we should have is a drilling tool, yes. The drilling tool, as you see, it's untypical. You cannot buy it in the shop, the kind of drill like we have here. This is custom made drilling. This is the typical drilling tool, and this is added in the special workshop.
Yes, the extension when you have the hard access to the place when you need to drill, you need to have this some kind of extension to have the access to the
also
drill.
As you see, it's much more easier to drill with extensioner because we were preventing to touching the head of drilling tool to some components in related to the manifold.
Right.
What we should do, as we show you, we need to have an access to the place as close for LPG. So let's just first step, the drill the manifold. Please, Tom, hold the manifold, please.
Okay.
And another thing you need to think about what will happen if we drill here. Yes. Take that in mind. That after drilling, you should put also the nozzle in this place. When we have a screw here to montage the manifold, after the drilling, if we put the nozzle on the left side, just an example, there will be a problem to mount the back the manifold to the engine. That's why we should go on the opposite side, yes, and make a drilling. Because we don't have a tool to hold it down, we will try to just make it like you see this small. Okay, we have a hole.
As you can see in the aluminium, we have the aluminium manifold. There are lots of just
small one drilling and see how many deposits we have.
Yes,
here.
This is the plastic, so it's not making some damage.
Yes, there will be no big issue in the engine. But if we drill later, we'll show you the aluminium dust. Yes, it creates it can create many damage in the engine. Related to catalyst, related to even some clogged on the valve seats or even on the valve, it can have a lot of issues with starting the engine after this. Right. That's why batteries, again, remove manifold
from the engine. That's right. So right now we have hole here. So right now
after
we can try to put the nozzle here. But to put the nozzle, as you can see. Yes. As you can see, the nozzle has a thread. So
we need to boil the thread in a manifold. Yes. step back, slow down the machine from second jar to the first jar to have slow moving point, and then related to the same angle, we need to make slowly the thread in manifold. Move it right, then opposite side, take back, and we have another thread in the manifold.
That's right. So right now, when we have thread, when we have the nozzle hole here, we can use the nozzle. As you can see, we prepared some different types of the nozzles. As you can see, this is the typical nozzle that you can usually find on the market.
And the injector kit is also included in many injectors. Yes.
But we can also have the nozzles like this one. As you can see, it's much more longer. It depends on the construction of the manifold. You can use the shorter one or the longer one. And the third one you can find also on the market is a directional nozzle. We will also tell you later about
more details on the different solution between. So and the next tool what we need it's a thread sealing liquid.
Yes, this is very important to use this liquid just to make the
the first step we should to use it, but not overfill the liquid. What is the reason? Because sometimes if there is a lot of liquid during montage the nozzle in the manifold, we can clutch the nozzle flow.
Yes, and then we made the installation. We think that everything is okay, but suddenly the car has the malfunction, engine has the malfunction, he's not working properly, some misfire on one cylinder, second, third. Then
for the nozzle we should have 8mm type of the similar tool like this, and then if we have a glue on it, the sealing liquid, can we have here a focus on it, so we can easily mount the nozzle in the manifold. And don't use too much torque on the screw, because this type of plastic body can be even we can destroy the manifold. We can crack the manifold. So this kind of tool is useful, because if you take a wrench key using this, you can have the torque can be too high and we can crack the manifold. Better is to use kind of screwdriver tool. And if you feel gently and feel just the thread is going at the end, it's finished. That's the rule. So we can show you the focus, how the nozzle is mounted. And opposite side, if we have a focus, output of the nozzle is very close to the output of the petrol injector. Hole, you can see. Okay.
To installing the nozzles in the manifold, it is also important thing to check the whole construction of the engine, because sometimes the manifold has also some plastic cover on it. So sometimes it's also very important to check the proper position to put the nozzles, and then there is no problem to putting the plastic top on the manifold. So it's also one of the things that you should take for consideration.
On the screen, we can show you one screen more related to the position of direction nozzle, for example. It means that the output of the nozzle, as you see, the direction nozzle has a small output, but only in one side of the construction. If you see this, and if you see the screen now, please. The output is as close as possible in the middle of the geometric construction of the runner. As you see, it's very close to the middle area of it. And the reason is that in the middle of the runner, geometric middle, the flow is more laminar. Close to the border, there the flow is going to be more turbulent, and it also occurs that the mixing is not so smooth. That's why the reason is, if it's possible for engine like this, because on the screen the manifold is from direct injection engine. When we have the strategy of petrol issue is more complicated, so to prevent the jerks, to have better mixing, just use, in case of that kind of engines, the nozzles with direction hole output.
Yes, and just to show you, maybe we can also, how do you think, Marcin, to do some hole here in this manifold, we can easily just make the hole, for example, in 90 degrees, and we can install the direction nozzle to see how it looks. So we have the manifold right here. We have take it off from the head of the engine. As we can see, there are no flaps here or something.
And no petrol injectors, also
yes, that's right. So we decide to put the nozzles here in this manifold. Okay. But because of that words that Marcin said just before, maybe we can use the directional nozzles, just to show.
Okay, let's do it. Let's drill it. I can see the hole. Okay, let's try it.
Okay, and now we make the hole. The second thing is just to make the thread. Okay, and now just to see the example, if we want to put the standard nozzles here, right now without the
without the glue, yes.
Glue, just to show you what is the difference, right? This is only the example. As you can see in this situation, I don't know if it looks.
Yes, it even not show off. Yes, it is. A little bit,
just a little bit, and the direction.
Maybe show it for camera how it looks like.
Yes, here we have the nozzle inside. Okay, so the injection of the gas is going to that wall,
yes,
right?
It will hit the wall, yes, after
hit the
going
wall.
out.
Yes. So in this situation, we can try to install the directional nozzle. Right.
And before installation, show how the nozzle looks like from the up, yes, and so show the please.
So right now we have the nozzle that looks like this, and from the upside, as you can see, there is a little bit
cut,
yes, a little bit mark, let's say,
yes, this small
on
mark.
the nozzle. It is very important, but because as you can see at the nozzle, this mark that is on the top of the nozzle, it has the same direction like the hole here. So when you install the nozzle, you can easily find the proper angle and
the position. You will be sure about the output of nozzle.
Yes. And once again, we should use the.
Maybe take a wrench. Which one is this? This one. Take it on a wrench. Then I will glue it and you will screw it. Okay.
Okay. Okay, so we are trying to install that nozzle here.
Okay, I think it's enough. And just let's see the output. We need to see that the markings should be going inside the engine.
Yes, inside the engine. So just a little bit move a little bit on the right just to have the same angle. Okay, I think it's good.
Yeah, looks like.
Yes. And as you can see, we have the nozzle in the same position like the standard one, but when you look down here, you can see that place, that output, yes, with the proper angle. And right now, when the system will try to inject gas, the direction of the gas will be just in the line of the runner. So we are very sure that in this situation, it will be very good direction of the flowing of the gas.
Exactly. So this are let's call it like more simple solutions. Then we can step to a little bit more complicated manifold, this one, okay. And what is unique that if we see the outputs of the airflow is with existing additional flaps inside. If you go and see outside, yes, it's mounted in the engine. There is no even show off, yes, about these flaps because it's built in at the back of the construction on the manifold. There is extra handles there. From the up, yes, we cannot even see this is existing flaps inside. So if you remove the manifold and you can see the flaps, if you put a typical nozzles here, we have the output of the here there will be output of the air together with mixed gas. There is a high risk if the flaps will be open, we'll be mixing all together 4 cylinders gas with air all together mixed. 100% sure we are that this engine will not work properly without the montage of the manifold, without this additional knowledge. Probably engine will be even not working stable on the idle, and there will be a lot of jerks and more problems. So after this mount of the manifold, the one proper solution for this engine is to mount additional plastic extenders for the nozzles, yes? And it looks like then we can put, after montage this manifold, the gas flow by this piping will go as close as possible to intake valve, and there will be no mixing, even the flaps will be open or closed, the gas will be flowing out by these plastic nozzles, yes? In many markets we can buy these plastic extension nozzles. Sometimes some kind of engines without the pressure in manifold, yes, like Valvomatic or Valvotronic engines, in Toyota engines and BMW engines. In this kind of solutions, we also suggesting to use this kind of nozzles because without this under pressure in the manifold, with typical nozzles mounted in the system, sometimes we are meeting some jerkings also, even it's LPG. With this solution, with the plastic nozzles mounted in the manifold, we can fix these issues easily, yes. It's not complicated. Also, it's not so expensive. It's a kind of €1-2 maximum the cost of the nozzle, yes. So in the overall cost of installation, €1 or €2, it's not too much, yes, to have it. Also, the work to done during the installation is very simple because we need to just drill the hole, use
like in
the
standard
sleeve, yes, metal sleeve, put the plastic pipe inside this metal sleeve, and then tighten it, and then put the pipe from injector to this nozzle using typical rubber hoses, yes, nothing more.
Yes, that's right, and that's also important that the extension you can change the extension by cutting depending of the
we can choose
long of the
how long it can
manifold.
be, because these pipes can be also a little bit modified during high temperature, so we can use external heat source, and then we can a little bit change the shape of this plastic pipe.
That's right.
It's flexible, so it can be easily mixed and fixed, yes, like this. This is a solution. So follow the next steps with more complicated. We can show you the manifold, very short manifold element from Toyota 2-liter engine. When from typical layout, you don't even also see that inside the manifold we can meet the flaps, yes. So there is each cylinder have a small flap. But if you see it in the engine department, without taking out, you are not sure which even place the mounted should be.
Yes, because every cylinder, as you can see, has two, let's say, lines or rows. When the air is going
two runners
from the manifold to the engine, right? And here, just like Marcin said, if you do not take off the manifold, you can think, well, to drill, maybe we can drill here. The second one maybe here, and maybe here, right?
So first thing what we can broke the flaps, yes, of course.
Right.
Or we can close the flaps, because if we drill and put the nozzles here, the nozzle can block the flap, yes. So what to do? After the montage, we should choose a proper runner. As you see, there will be one runner, number 2, 4, 6, 8, yes. There will be 4 runners. What to do? We suggesting to use direction nozzles in this case. And let's try generate dust. Aluminum dust, and you will see how many dust will be, yes, generated. Can you hold it? I will do it.
Yes, of course. Which one you choose? You can see.
Maybe here?
Here? Okay. Let's try.
Okay, I will. Okay, let's see this. Without the montage, see what we will generate, and we will have it in the engine, yes?
Right.
Prevent it, dismount manifold.
Dismount manifold, right?
So then, the same rule, we should make a thread.
Again.
Okay.
Again, as you can see, during this
Making the thread,
you still have the dust that is here, right? So dismount the manifold. Okay.
Okay. Yeah. Then I will hold. You can install the direction nozzle.
Yes, once again, we need to take some Loctite.
Okay.
Just remember to close it.
To zabierz to rękę, pan ci mówi z kamery tutaj. It means that the camera guy said, oh, nothing is on the screen, remove your hand.
Okay.
And the same rule to the direction of the engine probe, you should put the markings on side of engine side. Okay, Tomasz, you can
As you can see right now,
show the
there
guys.
is a directional nozzle here in the manifold, and the direction of the gas flow is the same direction that the air is going from the let's say during the filter, the manifold, and going to the head of the engine. Right?
So again, the advantage of the direction nozzle, you don't need to take care a lot about the angle, yes?
Yes.
Because if we have it in the runner, straight in the runner, output of the gas is inside the runner, in the geometric middle of the runner. So we have 2 or 3 things not thinking about, you just don't need it, because output is in the middle of the runner.
As you can see, if you will put in the wrong place when you're trying to close and open flaps, that nozzle will be problem during the proper working of the flaps.
Exactly. So from this, we can switch to V6 engine manifold, this big one. And what can be an issue on V6? Of course, issue can be the same. We can meet the flaps, we can meet double flaps in the runner, and sometimes we are meeting other problem. Let's see this. If we have like a 1-cylinder runner, we have very close, like here, a second runner, but sometimes these 2 runners can be in one surface. Here, as you see, there is like a one surface with this angle, second surface. But sometimes the surface is flat.
Yes.
Yes.
In the same line.
Yes, in the same line, the flat surface, and during the drilling we can damage the this runner, and this runner goes to opposite bank. Yes, this is bank 1, cylinder 1, 2, 3, bank 2, 4, 5, 6. So sometimes during the drilling we can meet an issue with destroying the wall of another cylinder runner. This can be an issue. So what to do? We need to focus on the 6-cylinder runners and manifolds like this. So drill it again close to the petrol injector. Then we have also sure that we cannot have broke the another cylinder runner, yes, like here. In this particular manifold, this is simple, yes, because we see the runners. But again, sometimes the surface is flat, and during the drilling we can destroy the another cylinder runner. This is like a main issue in V6 engines, yes. And another issue is that there is a lot of work to do if we have V6 and we have using injector lines, not the single injectors. So sometimes the injector pipes, because of the single rail, they are very long.
Right.
So what we should to prevent that usually these pipes from injector to the nozzle should be 10-15 centimeters long, not longer.
Not
yes?
longer, right? And the same
And
at
of
the
course,
same length. So this is very
if you
good.
watch the screen now,
Right.
the presentation file, you see that the we are seeing now the screen. Okay, guys, please see this. There are in green arrows there, and all are marked with the letter A. It means that that's the again next rule, very important rule. It means that all pipes from each injector, or even the single injector line, but single section, all the pipes should be the same length. It's the very important thing to prevent jerking, to prevent overfueling, not overfueling, to be a lean mixture, rich mixture,
Right.
or many different issues related to the length of the pipes from injectors to nozzle manifold. Yes, so this is again, we need to repeat it. A, it means that all pipes should be of the length A.
Yes, the same length of which pipe. And if we are talking about the installation, right now we can say some words about the position of the injectors, because also very important thing. As you can see, we can have the access to the injector rail and a single particular injector. So in general, if you want to install the rail or the injectors, the positions should be just like this, right? You can switch just a little bit left or right injector, but we are always saying not to install injector upside down.
Yes, just watch the
Just
next
like on the
slide,
screen.
please. And there is some suggestions related to the position of the gas injector, yes? And the gas injector output is the next rule. The gas output should be, as you see on the screen, a position can be down, can be left or right, or a little bit angle, but it cannot be opposite, like the injector is mounted opposite, that the output is going up. Yes, even if in the angle 40, 50 degrees, no matter, the output should be down or maximum 90 degrees from the horizontal position.
Yes, and if you are using the AC injectors, just remember, if you already install the nozzles to the manifold, or you want to install the injector properly, just remember to make proper holes,
of course,
in the nozzles that goes to the injector. Yes, because in standard there is a small hole. Here it's 1.5
is default, yes?
Yes, the default, but depend of the power of the engine. You need to drill hole with the higher diameter.
Yes, this
right?
information can, of course, it's together with the gas injector relays, it's like a manual. So you can find the table with the diameters, depends on the power. We are talking about because sometimes, and maybe not sometimes, very often is the situation that the customers are asking us about what is the diameter of the nozzle I should drill. And I'm asking, did you read the manual?
Yes.
What the manual?
Right.
Where is the manual? In the where is? Inside the injector box, yes? Oh, really? Yes, and he's watching. Oh, yes, it was.
Yes.
At the bottom. on the
bottom.
Yes, on the bottom, yes. So sometimes the question is just read the manual, guys. Yes, it's everything included in the gas injector relays, just in the box. That's the rule. And someone can ask us why injector cannot work like this. And just the main reason is that if we put the injector like this, all the deposits, because the filter in the system, it's not a wall, it's not a concrete wall, it's a filter. It means that there is some small particle parts, yes, particle matters that they can go across the filter. And if we put injector like this, all the small particle parts, all the even liquid small droplets, they are going inside the piston chamber, yes, in the cylinder of the piston. The plunger is sometimes the guys calling plunger, not the piston, right. Yes. And because the situation is like this deposit is still, there will be a moment he will be clogging the piston movement, yes, piston movement. Piston. So to prevent this situation and extend the life and stability and the parameters of injectors, we should have it like this, or the best position is like this. So all the deposit is going to the engine, but it's not occurs any issue on the engine because it's a small liquid. It can be burned in the engine chamber. But this position just will make that the life of the injector will be much more shorter.
Yes, and at the end of our today presentation, we can show you some examples that we already found in the engines.
We want to show you the
wrong installation of the injectors, right?
Exactly. So on the screens here, you can see how not to do the installation about the injectors and about the pipings. First, what you can see, different length of the pipes, and very long, very long pipes.
This looks from the Earth to the Moon, so it's just a little bit too longer.
The engine the engine will think, where is my fuel? Where is my fuel? Where is my fuel? Something like this, yes. And the next screen, there is markings, question markings. Yes, why? Because there is somewhere
somebody hide the injector.
Injector lies outside the engine somewhere. That's why the question is, where are the injectors? Yes. And as you can just focus on the screen, the injectors are mounted opposite. Yes, so the nozzles are going up. It means that the piston is going down. All the dirt is inside the injectors. It will kill very shortly. And the next screen is NASA, Star Trek. I don't know how to call it. This one, because
connection between cylinders. I think that somebody was trying to make holes. It is some situation that Marcin.
We told you about the wrong holes in the wrong runners, and you can see someone did this here on the screen, and he did wrong drilling, and then he tried to fix it using this small piping.
Let's say the idea is quite good, right? So
Star Trek, yes.
Okay.
This is very unique. What you can see, this is 6-cylinder engine, yes? And in this 6-cylinder engine, someone put a rail 4-cylinder and then add 2 different injectors because he has probably just 4 injectors with the 1 rail. And these 2 another injectors, I give you warranty that this engine cannot work properly. 110%, yes, it wasn't.
So let's check if there are some
good installation. As you can see, the guy is showing like this because of this should look like. It means that the injectors are clearly marked horizontal. The position is properly. Very short piping from injectors to the nozzle manifold. Then next, very softly looking. It's mean in engineering, if something is looking good, it's mean probably, high probably, also it will work good.
Good, right. So not only the...
Yes, this also WO3 injectors mounted in Toyota engine very smoothly. And then you can see WO2 injectors, how it looks like properly mounted. again W01 mounted with the short pipings and very
Yes.
nice looking.
Yes. Just remember, if you look at this screen, I don't see. No, it's normal connection. But sometimes you can also remember that if you do not have opportunity to put the length of the pipes, it's not the same for every cylinder. You can also mix the connection between cylinders to have the length
exactly.
of the
Then just mix
the same
mix the sockets.
sockets.
Yes,
Right.
that's all.
Right.
So at this moment, we have information that our time is ending. So what we can do, we can ensure you that the next webinar, the information about the next webinar will be on the website www.ac.com.pl.
Right.
Also, you can find information on our Facebook site,
YouTube site,
YouTube channel.
YouTube channel, right?
Uh,
And you can also write an email to
yes,
our.
and please suggest the topics that you want to extend to the next webinar. Thank you for your time and see you next time.